Greetings, friend, and welcome to the Park Hopper Daily Interviews. This is show number 14 for Monday, May 24th, 2021. And on today's episode, we unpack one of the most difficult parts of any Disney journey: what to shove in that suitcase for the trip. Travelers, breathe in that Disney magic and exhale your worries and your doubts because, like the outfits in your soon-to-be perfectly packed parcels, we've got you covered. Join Catherine and Anita as they talk biggest mistakes and misconceptions about what to bring, their weirdest essential items, and all of the pro tips this week on the Park Hopper Daily Interviews.
Hey!
Hello!
It's Catherine and Anita back with Park Hopper Daily's weekly podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm fabulous. I've got my little up house, got the purple stuff. We match with our purple walnus. I love it. And you got the fams all there behind you. You got your Nuimos, the Grogu.
My little hat box ghost that my son got me for Mother's Day.
How cute is that? Is that a wishable?
I know, how cute is that?
Is it a wishable?
It's a wishable.
Nice.
Oh, so cute. I love it.
I'm loving your shirt too, WandaVision.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a little PSA here. So I love this WandaVision shirt. It basically shows her in like all of her different forms throughout the show. I was a big WandaVision fan. So usually when I do shop Disney, I will buy a size large. And you know, it fits me well, but it's not like too tight, it's not too restrictive. And then lately I've been like kind of doing some extra larges just to have like a little bit of a roomier experience. So I decided to do that for this shirt, and I bought an extra large, and it's very form fitting. So I would recommend going up 2 sizes on this shirt if you're looking for something that like breathes a little bit more. But I really love the pattern. It's super cute, and hopefully my 12-year-old doesn't steal it from me sooner rather.
She wore one of your shirts to rehearsal the other day, and I complimented it, and she's like, yeah, it's my mom's.
She's been stealing my clothes constantly these days.
I love it.
So this week we're actually, speaking of clothes, going to talk a little bit about what our packing processes are for when we are headed down to Walt Disney World. Obviously, everybody kind of has their own way of doing this. Some people are just like toss it all in a bag and hit the road. Some people like me are a little bit more organized about that. And it also is going to be different if you're traveling alone, if you're traveling with children.
Yeah.
How long you're staying, where you're staying, what time of year it is. So there's a lot of variables. So yeah. Anita, you just did 2 different kinds of trips. You did a 2-month, I will be jealous for the rest of my life, honeymoon in Walt Disney World, followed by a very quick, but I think it's been billed as your best Disney trip ever.
Yes.
What was it? A 4-night?
4-night. Yeah.
Yeah. And you had 2 very different processes. So why don't you tell us about the first one?
Okay.
2 months.
The problem that the problem that happened, the mistake that I made going into that long trip was, one, I started packing way too early. Like, you do not need to start packing a month before your trip. But I was just it was like therapy for me to start planning and piling, and I was so nervous about forgetting something I would need. I was nervous and stressed about traveling like during the time of COVID. Like I went too far. All right. So my first pro tip for packing for Disney is do not start packing for Disney until maximum 3 days before you actually leave. Because the more time you have, the more you're going to overthink it, and the more crap you're going to bring that you just absolutely do not need. Like I was that meme that was going around a few months ago that was like, you know, me in real life, I wear like yoga pants and a t-shirt and a sweatshirt every day, and I'll wear that same thing every day for a week. But when I'm packing to go on vacation, I'm like, well, maybe I should bring the 3rd ball gown because you never know. That was me on the 2-month trip. We have a photo that I will post, and it's like 4 big checked bags, 2 rolly carry-on bags, 2 backpacks stuffed to the brim, plus my fanny pack. Like, and all of it was to the brim. And we bought so much stuff that we had to buy a car to drive home because we had too much crap. We could never have flown home with it. To be honest,
you needed a new car anyway.
You needed a new car anyway. Like I'm not that like I'm not that person. I'm a little person. But so we overpacked, just overthought, over worried, over stressed. The reality is that anything that you desperately need, like medicine, anything like that, like absolutely stress and make sure that you have the right prescription amount and all of that. But anything else, if you are able to travel to Disney, you're going to be okay once you get there. Like if you really forgot something, like they will have it at a gift shop or you can order it and get it, you know, to your resort. It's less time, less stuff, save some room in your bag for some shopping. But when we were doing our shorter trip, my husband and I actually planned every single outfit for every single day, and that was the most fun. Like, first of all, it was so much fun to like, we actually put on our little outfits like in our apartment. We're like, okay, how do we look good together? Like, is this okay? This is gonna be our look for Hollywood Studios in the morning, and then we're gonna go back to the resort and like chill and then change, and here's our Magic Kingdom outfit for the night. And it was so fun, and I wore everything that I brought except for one backup t-shirt that I did not wear at all. But like, what, for me to come home from a trip to Disney and have one article of clothing that I didn't wear, that's never, I would not believe that if you bet me $1 million, like I wouldn't have taken that bet. So yeah, that's my number one thing, is like, just less is more.
I feel like that's how we try to pack as well. You know, some of it right now, of course, is that if I'm going to be getting on an airplane to go to Walt Disney World, I'm really not looking to spend very much time in the Orlando International Airport. I want to spend actually as little time as possible, and that's even being vaccinated. You know, it's just not, you know, in my comfort zone. I think a lot of people were all re-entering COVID in our own ways. So having carry-on only luggage is really important to me. So now I'm actually getting ready to do a trip with just my husband for 4 nights next week. I don't actually know when this will post, so maybe after the fact, but I'm getting ready to start planning our packing, and we're going to do the same thing where we do carry-on only. I'm going to make a video, so we will share that as well. I use a company that I have really loved called eBags. They have suitcases and backpacks and laptop cases that have like lots of compartments for somebody who loves to be organized. It's like definitely next level. The backpacks we have honestly can expand to
Oh, there you are.
Hey, sorry, somebody just tried to call me. The backpacks I was just talking about can actually expand to really be the size of another carry-on. So if you're somebody like Anita or myself that goes down to the parks and buys a few extra things, probably more than we should, those backpacks will expand to give you the room. But yeah, I definitely recommend doing what you and Joe did, which is basically I will lay out the clothes that I plan to wear on my travel day and then my individual days in the park for this time of year, and certainly for September, which is another time of year I tend to travel down to Walt Disney World when it is so hot. I really recommend having at least 2 outfits or at least 2 tops and certainly extra undergarments and all of that for every day, because you're going to be out there, you're going to be sweating, you're going to want fresh clothes for the evening. I recommend just planning for your weather as well. If it's a tropical time of year, make sure that you have, you know, a rain jacket or an umbrella. I'm not a poncho person. I prefer to have are you a poncho person?
Oh, I live in my poncho. When it starts to drizzle, I feel a drop, I'm like, poncho. I hate being wet at all. Like I don't even do Splash Mountain. I do Splash Mountain so rarely because I hate the potential. I don't know why I said it like that. I hate the potential of getting moist. I hate it. I hate the feeling. I can't do it. I've never been on Cali River Rapids and I'll never do it. I will never ever do Cali River Rapids.
Okay, well, the one frustrating thing about Cali River Rapids for a lot of people who don't mind getting a little wet, when, again, if I'm there when it's hotter than the surface of the sun and I'll take any relief I can get, is that you don't get wet sometimes on Cali River Rapids. So you're like on this water ride hoping to get refreshed, and first it's Animal Kingdom, so it's the hottest place in all of Walt Disney World.
Splash the world.
There's no water hitting your body, despite it being a river rapid experience. So you should try it sometime. You'll probably be fine. But I prefer to have like a breathable raincoat, an umbrella. I just the ponchos get really like hot, and I don't know. I'm just not a poncho person. But yeah, so definitely plan for whatever the weather is. I was telling Anita earlier, I also use these little Ipsy bags. Ipsy is a makeup service. They send you like makeup samples every month, and they always send them in these really cute bags, which after being an Ipsy member for a couple of years, I have a lot of them. So I use them, I repurpose them for things at home, like, like pencil cases for my kids, makeup, makeup holders, but I'll use them when I travel for things like portable chargers, for, charging cords, for earbuds and headphones, just so that everything kind of has its place. Magic bands, which I still plan on using, even with the new phone service that you can use in the parks. So that's another part of my process, is making sure I kind of have those little bits and bobs in places where I know where they are, they're organized. It's not like this big mess in my backpack.
That sounds awesome. Like I definitely have 1,000 of those tiny bags from like myriad sources, and I am going to be using them for that going forward.
I also would recommend another thing we pack, is chewing gum. If you are familiar with the Disney parks at all, you know that you cannot buy gum on property, and you can't even buy it at the Orlando International Airport. So if you are somebody who enjoys gum on a plane, to pop your ears, or just in general likes to have gum, you definitely want to make sure that you buy that ahead of time.
BYOG.
What?
BYOG.
BYOG, exactly. And then I would also say, just also maybe like get a couple of like granola bars, like some snacks, so that I don't, not everybody is a rope drop person. For me in COVID, I don't think there's any other way to do the parks. So it's nice to have like a little granola bar that you can, put in your bag and head to the parks.
Yeah, absolutely. So back to our poncho raincoat conversation. Joe and I have a system, and we pack specifically whenever we go to Disney. Like, of course we check the weather, but it changes so quickly and so often that you just have to assume that you will be caught in rain. Assume that there's going to be rain, and then if you get beautiful days and there's no rain, hallelujah, right? But don't go in expecting those beautiful days and then be like all pissy when it actually does what Florida does all the time. So we have our Havaianas. Javianas, thank you. That's a word I will never pronounce right. I'm so sorry. But we got those flip-flops because they don't give you blisters. They don't slip and slide around in the rain. Like they're a little bit more pricey, but they're really worth it. And they don't like wear down. Like the old Navy flip-flops, like you could just see your foot on the flip-flop. I mean, I hate flip-flops and like foot, like I hate feet. I'm like the opposite of a foot fetish kind of person. Like I don't want to see your feet. I don't want to see my feet. Like I just considering that I'm a dancer, like this is a weird aversion. Or maybe it's because I've smelled / seen so many just like gnarly feet that I've had my fill. But I will wear flip-flops in the rain because I don't like being wet. So at least like the flip-flop, my foot can like kind of have a chance to dry off. I will not sneaker or sock in the rain. I can't do it. But we'll pack the flip-flops and extra plastic bags and our ponchos in our backpack wherever we're going, whenever we're going anywhere. It's always with us so that if we get caught in the rain, which happened on our last trip, we were closing out Epcot and we went on Soarin'. Beautiful evening. Everything looked fine. Everything looked great when we walked into the land to go on Soarin'. As we're walking out of the land, it's not even rain. It's like a waterfall just happened to like start, like sheets of rain. Everyone's freaking out. Children are screaming. Oh, like, oh yeah, how are we gonna go? Everyone's losing their minds. Joe and I, without a word, we just look at each other. We're like, put the bag down, start taking off our shoes, our socks, put them in the plastic bags, put on our flip-flops, put on our ponchos. I make sure the poncho's covering the backpack, and we just walk out. We're like, all right, let's do this. So it's important to plan not only your, like what you're packing to bring with you, but pack with your days in mind. Like pack a bag that you can take into the park. Like you've got to have something substantial, especially if you're going to bring, like maybe want to carry your sneakers or have your flip-flops with you. Like a backpack, yeah, it's going to be a little sweaty, and yeah, Joe's back basically is constantly covered in a little, like, you can see the backpack outline and sweat on his back. Bless his soul. He won't let me carry the backpack. He's a good man.
Oh, good man.
But yeah, you gotta like pack those little things, like the plastic bag. I mean, you can get plastic bags at Disney, but be careful because the blue bags, if they get wet, they will start to like get on your skin, get on your clothes. So having just like plain plastic bags, or ask for, like, I think they will give out like umbrella bags sometimes, or like they have like the clear ones. So if you get caught in rain, you can go that route as well.
Well, I think what you're bringing up is really important, which is your park bag, which is like when I am in my planning for packing for my Disney trip, it like basically breaks down into the clothes I'm going to wear, the little accessories that we're going to need just for like the day-to-day stuff. And then I have my park bag, and my park bag, I will actually have it inside a larger backpack. I use a shoulder backpack for my park bag. And I have it in my larger backpack, but it's already like pre-stocked. It's got like whoever's with me, it's got our magic bands in a container. It has big Ziploc bags, which I recommend having gallon and quart size Ziploc bags. Bring a handful of them on every trip, shove them in your bag. Not only are they great for like in a moment like that where you're, going to put like socks or shoes or anything like that in there, but they're also great like if you're like enjoying like a sweet treat or a snack that's not going to melt and you don't want to like eat the whole thing, and you want to maybe like save a little bit, you can just like put it in a little Ziploc, put it in your bag, you're good to go.
Your Gideons. You got it right there.
Gideons, with your masks. I mean, the reality is, well, we are hearing that this summer they, may alter the mask policy at Walt Disney World. So far, you still need to wear masks inside and outdoors in the parks, whether you're vaccinated or not. Having a Ziploc bag with extra masks, especially when it's hot, and another one just to put your masks in when you sit down to eat. Having these kinds of things in your park bag, a poncho or an umbrella, a rain jacket, it's really important to be prepared so that you're not out there like, what do I do now?
It is so, I would rather carry around all that stuff for 5 days and not need it than be caught once and not have any of it. Because I mean, the ponchos aren't cheap either. I mean, they're $11, but they're like crappy plastic ponchos. Like it's $11 and you're only really going to get a couple of wears out of it before it rips or something. They did say that they do replace them. And so we had one that ripped, but it ripped in January, but we brought it. And so I like went and exchanged it. And I didn't realize that they had changed the design since then. So we're like walking away. Joe's got his new poncho on, and we just turned back and the guy's like holding up the poncho like this isn't right, and then we're like, crap, like go fast, go before he calls us back. once. So let's see. The other great thing about, or like the great different thing that I did on our most recent trip, was kind of letting go of this idea that I have to fit into certain items to be happy on vacation. Like, I bought a new bathing suit instead of packing the bathing suit that I've been wearing for years pre-pandemic and like in the pre-pandemic life. And that the whole time we were on our honeymoon, I was uncomfortable in, because it was like just a little too snug and like didn't quite support. And it was just like a little awkward. And I was just like, why am I making myself like self-conscious and miserable? I really put every single article of clothing that I packed, I put it on my body 3 days before the trip, maybe 2 days before the trip, because I wanted to make sure that I was going to be happy. I cannot tell you how many times I have like had an emotional breakdown in a Disney hotel room because the outfit that was so cute and I want to recreate this photo, or like I loved this outfit last time I was there, but this time it won't button and it won't zip, or it doesn't quite, like, I feel like in it. I'm like, that is such a horrible feeling. Why am I doing that to myself at Disney? So actually, like, don't just pick it out and lay it out on the bed. Like, put it on your body and make sure that you are like magic, happy, confident, like everything fits. And if it doesn't fit, and comfortable. If it doesn't fit a week, 3 days, 2 days before your vacation, it is not gonna fit. It's not gonna fit after a day of drinking and eating around the world. Be honest. Be honest. You're not like, and that's what I really like messed up with. This is so like, pandemic like did so many things to my brain. I had an entire like mini wardrobe of inspiration outfits that I brought with me on the honeymoon trip that were all like, we're gonna go down there, I'm gonna run every day, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna get in shape again, and then I'll wear all these outfits on like the last week of the trip. Like, what?
On the last week of your 2-month Disney honeymoon?
What in God's name was going through my mind? That is the dumbest pack. So then I had all this stuff that just every week I just kind of looked at it, and every week I like stayed either exactly the same or like less in shape, and I would just be like, oh. And I was like, what? But I was setting myself up for that disappointment. Like, you do not go on vacation and come back like magically in shape.
Yeah.
And why would you? Why? I mean, maybe someone does. Good for you, whatever. But like, I'm not that person. So I know better now. And I really like, I'm not caring about the label. Like, if it's a large, if it's an extra large, if it's whatever, like, who cares? Does it feel good on your body? Is it comfortable? Because Disney will, like, even if it's borderline, like, Disney will make it feel maximum uncomfortable. So you better start maximum comfortable.
Yeah.
And like, does it fit? Does it fit easily? Expect that, you know, if you're going to be splurging on like getting more decadent foods. You're going to be splurging maybe on whether it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic. You're going to be getting like more sugary kind of beverages. You're not going to be sleeping enough. Yeah, you're walking 10 miles a day, but like, that's not going to change your physique in the course of a week. Just like
with all of the other things that you're doing,
exactly.
It's impossible. Like, if you were walking that much in your regular life and eating your healthy meals at home and, you know, not going overboard on that extra glass of wine or that cocktail at the Mexico Pavilion, then yeah, walking 10 miles a day, you're going to get into shape very quickly. And that's wonderful. At Walt Disney World, it's just probably not happening.
Not gonna happen. So yeah.
I think that's a really important thing. I think especially for women to hear, especially in the Instagram age, you know, which, look, I love Instagram. Instagram has its place. But, you know, you see as a Disney fan, a lot of these images of, you know, women in, you know, these fancy dresses and heels and, you know, and I think that it can be hard if you're not comfortable in that clothing to not aspire for that. And for me, when I'm at Walt Disney World, I'm active, I'm in the parks, I'm checking things out. And yeah, certainly like I'm taking pictures with my family, with my husband. I want to look cute. I put effort into it. But really being comfortable is so important, especially when it's so hot. And at minimum 6 months of the year, it is so incredibly hot. And so to, be in a tight fitting shirt that doesn't really support you or feel good, it's just, you're going to be drenched in sweat, it's just not worth it. Be comfortable and embrace your body and who you are, and I own that.
Yeah. And I will say, if you do want to do like a photo shoot and have like the cool outfit that maybe is not the most comfortable for the parks, like don't be afraid to pack a backup. Like Joe and I do that all the time. Like we will, if we're staying close to the park, like when we did some like wedding photos for us when we first got there, and I wore my wedding dress and Joe wore his suit. That was another reason why we packed like way too much stuff. We like brought that, but it was so worth it. Those are some of my favorite photos that I have of us like married, and we were staying at Polynesian, so it was so easy. We put on our outfits, went to the park, did our photos, went back to the Polynesian, changed probably into onesies or like sweatpants, and then went back. And we did see some of the same people because it was within like 3 hours, and they're like, weren't you just, and we're like, yeah, but now we're actually going to go like enjoy the park. I don't really see the two necessarily being in the same moment, in the same outfit. Like I'm here to like capture like the beautiful outfit, and then I'll come back and I'll capture some fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And those pictures of you and Joe are so beautiful. I'm not trying to encourage people to not have that special moment, but just understand that like it's okay, and it's not like something that everybody's doing, walking around in high heels and ball gowns in Magic Kingdom from 8:00 in the morning till 8:00 at night. Like that's probably not the reality of that situation.
Exactly.
It's probably more of what Anita is talking about, where it's like, yay, I get to be cute and have this experience, and now I'm gonna go put my yoga pants on and my Mickey t-shirt on, and I'm gonna hit the parks. It is a thing.
Absolutely. Let's see. I want to give a shout out to something that I've not yet tried, but I'm rapidly approaching the time when it will be necessary, and I actually you and I need to go in on this together. One of those Disney locker situations. I don't know that much about it, but it's like a little like a bin. You get essentially like a plastic storage container, and you fill it with your stuff. You can get, I've seen people like they pack their popcorn buckets, they're refillable, so that when you're going back, you don't have to pack this in your bag to get your $2 popcorn. It's just they do their resort refillable mugs. They do they buy bigger bottles of liquor so that they're not constantly having to like rebuy that every time they go down. Full-size toiletries, maybe some like accessories and stuff, like for people who don't just rock their Disney merch on the regular, they like save it for the parks. They put their like ears and hats and maybe some shirts and stuff, and accessories in this little locker.
A Brita water pitcher would be really good for your room. If you're not a fan of the Keurig, and because you don't want the waste, you can, maybe have a coffee maker. Yeah, totally. Yeah. We'll definitely go in on a locker. Are you allowed to go in on a locker?
We'll figure it out. We'll post about it. So yeah, and then the owner's locker people deliver it to your resort, and then you use it for your stay, and then they pick it up on your last day and like put it back in their little storage. I'm like, that is brilliant. Like that is really brilliant, and a way that you can avoid having to check bags, because maybe some of your bigger items are just sitting right there for you in your owner's locker.
And that's the real tough part with checking bags, is really, it's like those full-size toiletries. You have to be really strategic, and like sunscreen, which is, obviously an essential element, when you're in the parks, things like that, having like a Brita water pitcher in your room, even like keeping, like you said, your resort mugs, and even just refillable water bottles.
Yeah.
They actually, Brita makes these really great refillable water bottles with a filter in it, which if you drank, Florida water, you understand that you really do want some filtration there. There is like this quality to it that is not very appealing. So from what I understand, you don't pay for the locker itself. What you pay for is the delivery. So you'll get your locker, and then it's what you pay for is when you have it delivered to your resort. I believe that's the way it works, but we'll have to explore that.
Yeah, and then we'll post all the details about what we learn. That'd be so great. So those are my main tips. I mean, because I don't think that anyone's watching this like really trying to get a check, like, do I bring sunscreen or sunglasses or like, how to pack for a trip to Florida. Like, you know what to bring. It's just more about the method. Like, don't try to bring all your ball gowns. One will suffice. Don't try to bring inspiration outfits that aren't gonna make you feel awesome and happy and comfortable. And do not stress if you're not dressed like the top ranking Disney influencer. You are there to have a great time with yourself, your loved ones, your family, like whoever you're there with, and just soak in the magic. Just soak it in. Oh, bring a fanny pack. That's my other, like, I have to have. I actually brought 3 fanny packs on our last trip. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't do the fanny packs yet. I could see myself doing it. I do have a crossbody that sometimes I'll use. Another thing I would recommend, especially this time of year, is a portable fan. You can get portable fans that will go around your neck that have like 2 little fans right here that'll blow some nice air up at you.
Oh, cool.
I have one, like, it's kind of like on a little stick. They're not expensive. You can get them on Amazon. And honestly, like, if you're going to be in the parks and it's going to be super hot, you're going to want to have something to cool down with, especially right now. Like I said, we are still wearing masks in the park, and the masks do make it feel hotter. So to be able to like get to a relaxation station, like set up your little fan, cool down with a beverage, it's nice.
Yeah. Is there any item that, like, what's the weirdest item that you pack that someone might not think to pack? I guess like a little portable fan might
the
fit
portable fan might be one of my top ones. I always make sure I have multiple kinds of chargers. I have a portable charger that's kind of like a big bank, and that works the best. But another thing that I have had for many years is I have about, I don't know if you can see them.
the fuel rods. Yep.
Fuel rods. So I have like 3 of these. And now if you've used them, these are not great chargers. You get probably like 1 full charge over a very long period of time out of 1. Yeah. But you know what? You can still trade them in. I know that they are going to have a charge for that at some point. If you didn't.
Yeah, it's $3, but I think so. I downloaded the app on our last trip, and if you like just download the app and say that you bought it before they started charging, and then you can exchange it for free. Like, I exchanged it for free at the Polynesian Resort one.
But so, they were charging at that point.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, because when we were there, they still weren't charging.
Oh,
which is interesting.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely make sure to download that app, because I did buy this many years ago, where I bought the original one. But they're just like kind of small and portable. Honestly, though, with the larger bank charger, I found on our last trip I barely used my fuel rods because it was just so easy. It was charging it so fast. I think we only had to recharge that one with several devices among my family, like once in a week. Oh, nice. So it was a good one. But yeah, so probably the fan. My daughter and I will bring cooling towels in September. But honestly, at this point, I think we're spending a lot of our middays away from the parks and at the pools and resorts just to escape that intense heat, and really trying to have our park hours in the morning and in the evening.
Yeah.
What about you? You're going to have way more interesting, what's the weirdest thing in your bag than I am. I'm a little bit, I'm a little more practical than Anita.
Well, definitely, I think our onesies are some of our more eclectic items. And we didn't bring them on the last trip because we were like, it was going to be really hot and there was no opportunity to be comfortable in the onesie. And our trip in November, December, January, like there were some days where I was really glad to have a onesie. And, like, it was cold. So, like, I'm fine with a onesie while it's cold, and then put it in the backpack when it warms up. So onesies, and Joe and I, we have this little Grogu nightlight in the bathroom that is like a light sensor. So when it's dark, it turns on. Like, you don't have to turn it on. Like, it does it itself. In the last couple of trips, one of us has snuck it into the bag to kind of plug it in at the resort and like have it be like a little sense of home. And another thing that I always like to bring is like a cuddly blanket, because I just really like, sometimes when we're chilling at the resort in the middle of the day, or like I always like to have like a really soft, cuddly blanket. I don't know, it's my blankie. And it doesn't matter which one, I'm not like attached to a specific one, but I do always have to bring one. I like to have it on the plane. It makes me feel like safe. And then, there's not really like blankets at the resorts that like you could curl up on the couch with. So I do use up some space for like a legit, like super soft blanket.
That should go in our owner's locker.
Yeah, that would be.
So my children both my daughter has a Stitch fleece blanket. They're both from Shop Disney. My son has a Toy Story one with the aliens on it.
Yeah.
And those always are rolled up in their bags for really any trip, for like, an airplane, and certainly on the Disney trips. Because like you mentioned, the bedding at Disney, while it's certainly warm enough, I found it's warm enough. You don't have even like a comforter on your bed. It's really like multiple sheets and blankets that they pull together. So having a nice comfy blanket is a really good idea.
Those are ours. It's just like 12 fanny packs, because I have to have a different fanny pack with every outfit.
I feel like we're gonna go on like our research trip, and I'm gonna like have to like find a way to like bring my game up, because I'm just
I
have shirts
3 days before. I'll bring my ideas and we can coordinate, and we'll have a little fashion show for Ella. And
okay, good. I think Ella's campaigning to go on the first research trip.
Well, so she can be. We'll all have a fashion show then for Charlie.
Okay, well, we'll wrap this one up for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. So what is your like weirdest thing that you bring to Disney and your packing? Do you have a system? Let us know, leave it in the comments below. And if you haven't, please subscribe to our channel. Let your friends know about us. If you're listening to us on iTunes, give us a rating, give us 5 stars. We're just trying to bring some positivity and Disney into the world, which has been a tough world in the last year. So we could all use a little radiance in our life, right?
Amen.
Okay, so I'm Catherine Manu, and this is
Anita Boyer.
We are Park Hopper Daily, and we will see you real soon.
Bye.